a criteria. This is like a search. We're looking for lines that match the string, that have the string from as their prefix. Now, when we look at the output of this, it's kind of weird. We see kind of these little blank lines that show up. Blank, 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 blank. What's going on here? What's going on? So let's take a quick look. The problem is new lines. Well, I mentioned that the file has new lines in them. And so when you do the for loop, it doesn't throw the new lines away. As you might expect, it would be kind of nice if it did, but it doesn't. It actually shows you, when you read, it reads that first line up to and including the new line and gives you that back as the variable. So that is the first new line, so that means it's going to go down. And then the print statement actually adds another new line. So that's the second line of the file has a new line at the end of it, and the print statement adds another new line. So if we take a look at the code, there is a new line. Oops, come back. If we take a look at the code, this variable line has a new line in it. Oops, where am I at? I'm on the wrong slide. There we go. Yeah, this is the one I want to do. If we look at the code, there's a new line in here, and then the print adds another new line. So the print adds a separate new line. And that's how we get two new lines. The print statement's new line and the new line from the file. Here's how we fix it, and you're going to write this code a lot because when you're reading text files, you end up with a new line, and often you don't want the new line. But thankfully, as we saw in the previous chapter, there is a nice little function in Python for strings called strip that allows you to throw away white space. And to review, remember white space is anything that doesn't print. And this new line is not a non-printing character. So rstrip gets rid of it. So it's a way to get rid of white space. And rstrip does it from the right end. So it's the right end of the string. And so if we just are going to loop through all the lines in the file, we say line equals line rstrip, and then this variable no longer has the new line at the end of it. We have our little if statement, and if we print it, then this line, the data has no thing, and then the data has no new line in it, so the print only goes down one. And so now we have single-spaced output. And so you're going to be doing that a lot. It's really common to read through a file and then just strip the new line or any trailing space off the end of that. Now, there's a couple of ways to do a loop like this, and let's just think of this as we're looking for a file with lots of different lines in it, and we want to ignore all the lines except some, say, good lines, and we want to do something with those good lines, or the lines we're looking for. Needle in a haystack. This is like searching for a needle in the haystack. So if you look at this code at high level, we're going to loop through everything, and then we're sort of picking which lines are, and these are the good lines down here. Now often we have a bunch more code that we want to do, and we're not just printing them, but we're going to do a lot of code. So sometimes you actually structure the loop a little bit differently. And so the way to do it, and this is going to do the exact same thing, it's just a little different way of thinking about this loop. So the top part is the same, we're stripping it, and what we're doing here is everything's the same here except we add this not. If the line does not start with from, that's the translation of that. If the line does not start with from, continue. So basically we have a skipping pattern. So the lines we're not interested in, we skip. So we come down, we skip a lot of lines. And then we find a line that's good, and then we fall through. So this is the good code, and then we have all the other good code that we want to do to that line. We have that showing up down here. And so there's just two patterns, two ways to do the exact same thing. So another way to select the lines that we're interested in is to use the in operator. So we talked before about the in operator and how that works. So we're basically going to use the continue skipping method. So we're going to read all the lines, these first few lines. If uct.ac.za is not in the line, skip it. And so this is going to print out all the lines that have the string uct.ac.za in them. And so you see this is the output of the program, ... Sometimes you'll have programs that want to read different files. Often I give assignments where I say, show me how this program runs on the short file, and then show me again how it runs on the long file, just like this. And so the way we do that to input the file name, instead of making the file name be a constant to the open call, we make the file name be an input. So we just run an input statement, which gives us a prompt, and then we type mbox.txt, and then that shows up in this variable f name. It's of course a string all the time, and we pass that into open, and then we open it, and then we do, you know, the count operation. So if we enter mbox.txt, it counts 1797 subject lines in mbox, and if we give it mbox short, it says there are 27 subject lines in mbox. And again, this is another one of those ifs, and it's just counting, but only counting lines that match a particular pattern. Okay, so now the user can also type bad file names, and we need to be able to deal with that as well. And so we're taking a small change to the code. The dangerous code is this line right here. This line right here is going to trace back if that file doesn't exist. So what do? Well, we're going to just expand that. The rest of this program is exactly the same. The only thing's different is we've got this line. We took out insurance on it, and we know that it might blow up, and so we have it in a try and except block. So here's how the code runs.